Okay, let me comment on this. Yet variable in bracket item. Now, items are not variable, but items are used to measure the variable. For example, the example that I gave earlier, let's look at the previous example here. Okay. Mana nak share?
Variable are indicators.
Mana nak share item ni?
Yeah. Share.
Yeah, but I want to show my slide. Okay, okay. Let's get back to the slide again, because I think I've shown earlier, so that I know. If not, you will be confused about the construct and variable. Okay, let's look at this slide here. Like I say, sometimes it can be mistaken. Construct can be mistaken for variable. But construct are not variable. For example, the construct of self-efficacy or the construct of strategic dimension, or the construct of information need. Okay, so in this case, information need is a construct and a variable. Okay, because you list down all the types, all the possible types of information: market information, scientific information, political information, vendor information. Those are the types of information that managers need. Okay, so here information need is a construct and a variable, right? Yes. Okay, but for a strategic dimension, which is a construct, you can measure only the variables can measure strategic. You can't measure strategic by itself. You can't observe the strategic dimension in business IT alignment. Therefore, there are variables to measure strategic dimension, which is our strategic alignment, which is shared domain knowledge, IT involvement in strategic planning, and you have a few more. Okay. So there are 2 or 3 variables to measure strategic alignment. Okay. So sometimes, most of the time, we use a variable to measure or to operationalize, to observe or to measure the construct. So here we use the variable shared domain knowledge, IT involvement in strategic planning to measure the strategic alignment. There are very few cases whereby construct can be mistaken for variable. For example, here, construct name and variable name for sex is the same. because you measure the construct of sex through male or female. And here, sex is also a variable. So it's the same. It is a construct, it is also a variable. Because to measure the sex is just two, male and female. You can't break down male into further. Can you break down male? Right? Okay, so I hope you are clear about the difference between construct and variable. I give two examples where construct and variable are the same. One is sex, two, information need. Okay, information need is a construct, information need is also a variable. Because I identified all possible types of information to measure information need of managers. And I list down all the variables types, all the possible types of information. For example, market information. You can't break down further. You don't need to break down further. Okay. So I think when you go to the second part, Dr. Ismadi would give you some exercises. Then you can see more clearly. Okay. What's the difference between construct, variable, and item? I'm pretty worried when there is okay here. Yes. Let me see. Where is my chat here? Chat.
Chat.
Just now, I can see the chat on the left because some very, very glaring. Tak nampak chat balik semula. Sebab ada yang
Cuba tengok tutorial ni sebenarnya.
Ya. Mana tadi kan kat sini kan? Oh. Biar aja kat sini tak boleh ke? Oh, saya nak buat kat mana kalau saya nak tengok tunjukkan chat? Oh, saya kena tu balik semula and then sekejap saya buat so that you boleh tunjuk saya boleh operate sini. So katakan kalau tak keluar tadi, ini dah keluar lah. Biar aja ya. Bakar dulu. Okay. And then saya dah bawa ke server, more, and then chat. On. Double. Oh, okay. Baru saya ini Alright. Let me see. Could you think, yes, I have given that. Could you think of a construct that defined by itself? Okay. Okay. Here from Shikaro, construct equal variable sex information need. Yes, yes. Tak ada lagi kan? Thank you. Ya. Ada tak?
Training ada dalam ni. Oh ni nak ambil. Ada tak boleh.
Okey, ada yang tanya sebelum pukul 10 tadi daripada Syahidah Ismail, betul tak pemahaman saya construct contoh general well-being, operational definition is daily activity like eating. Yes, that is a good example of operational definition. Okay, so there is a further explanation on concept A concept is a verbal abstraction drawn from observation of a number of specific cases where there is direct link between concept, which is the abstraction, and its reference, the reality. A construct serves the same function as a concept, but it is more abstract and not characterized by a direct link between abstraction and its observed manifestation. Okay. Yeah. A concept is a construct. A construct, of course, it must be represented by a concept. Okay. A concept can also be a variable. Okay. Right. Further, operationalization is when concepts are transformed into questions or items from abstract to specific measurable item. Yes. Okay. So if you transform the question, if you transform the concept into items like self-efficacy of pharmacists, the example that I gave you, then you can see that you have broken down into specific measurable entities. Right, at this point, if it is theoretical, it is important, but in between, I think I have given examples. Like the slide that you are seeing now, these are examples. Okay, I've given the table for different types of construct, and then from there I've shown examples of variable and items to measure variable. So I hope perhaps if you can see the notes later and try to digest, right? Never mind, it's okay. Because like I said, the first part is more theoretical, because it is important for you to understand operationalization and conceptual clarity, the difference between construct and variable. And I've given examples of construct and the dimension in each construct. Some construct can have dimension. For example, self-efficacy, there is academic self-efficacy, social self-efficacy. Okay, so construct can be in different way. It can be broken down into more specific dimension. Okay, so those are examples. It is important for you to understand, because you must understand the difference between construct and variable, because in order for you to measure, some construct, like I say, can be measured by itself. Construct can also be variable. The construct of information need, it is a variable, because then you don't need the variable further break down into specific variable. You break down the information need by listing down the items. The items are the all possible types of information that managers possibly would need. Okay, right. Don't worry, because the first part is theoretical. You have to understand. If you don't understand this, it's difficult for you to identify from previous research to build your conceptual framework or your theoretical framework. Later on, part 2, you can see it more clearly. It will be more simplified through the next session by Dr. Ismadi. Please do not worry, because with more examples, by the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that you will be more confident in understanding the difference between construct and variable. Yes. This is when you do the exercise, you would see it more clearly. Okay, another question. How many are from social science? All right, this is my question. All right. Right. Yeah, you can search. You can search from through Google. Just type Mandura 1997. You would get the refer. You get immediately the link to the article. Right. So if you are in the medical, yeah, I can't possibly give examples from all field. I have chosen, I've given my example, which is from the IT, information need, which is general, I think, and examples in my slides are from the medical, from the pharmaceutical. Further on, there are more examples which you can see when you do the exercises. And of course, when you present, when you do the exercises, some participant would be invited to present. So I'm sure you can get more examples from other fields. Okay, there is a question from Shamili. How many theoretical definition need to write in the questionnaire? Uh, for your questionnaire, when you give theoretical definition, it's advisable to get from a few sources. Okay, like I showed you for self-efficacy. For medication adherence, I gave you two examples whereby you can see the difference and then how the definition transform into a more up-to-date definition. Okay. Right, so let me yes. All right, let me resume. Okay. I hope everybody is in the slide again, looking at the slide. And now I would like you to hands-on, INN, Cherizit. Can everybody get into the URL that I have given? And please register. Once you have registered, okay, you can see this. A good example here, explain about variable. Self-efficacy is a variable. Perceived usefulness is a variable. The item is a statement to use to measure the variable. Yes. Okay. So I hope everybody has in this in the organization INN, right? So please register, and I would like you to, sorry, right, scroll down, and you can see the major contributors. Okay, so it is an authoritative source. It's also the US National Science Foundation, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a project at University of Leeds School of Business. So they have collected from various research definition of various variable and also items, and also they give also the citation where they have taken the questionnaire or the items or the variable, right? So once you have registered, you can start doing the search. Let me just scroll through some of the slides, and then after that you can do some hands-on. So once you get into this interface, you can type your search variable and then click search variable. Do not search item immediately. Why? Let me show you why. Right. So if you type medical efficacy and click search variable, then the result they would give two different sources, okay, instead of search item. The first one you can see on the right, IDC. Okay. So I stands for item, D is a definition, and C is for citation. Now, if you get IDC, that is the most complete. But sometimes they don't give the citation. Of course, the citation you can get from here. They just immediately give you the item. No definition of the construct or the variable. Okay. Next, when you click to D, then you get perceived general medical efficacy to complete the 2-dose series of hepatitis A virus. So here you can see the context of the item, of the variable. And then when you scroll I, then you get the item. Okay. Sometimes the item can be adapted. So it all depends on the context of your research. Next is the citation. Okay. So you can get further citation. Somebody asked about citation for Bandura. Here is the more updated citation for from Bandura. Okay. When you do your search, there are cases where when you type health demand, in this case, you will get this instead of the result of the list of articles, okay, citation. This is because sometimes you need to use other words or synonym or words that represent the same variable, health demand. So in this case, in health demand, instead of using health demand, based from the literature review, when you read, it's actually health services. So you can use health services and then you can get more items and variable definition of the variable and the citation. Okay, so in this case, health services, I have been seriously sick this year, but I haven't seen a doctor or gone to a clinic. I go to the doctor early when I'm sick, so I don't get worse. Going to the doctor regularly is a normal part of how I take care of myself. So this reflects items to measure the demand for health services. Okay, so there are more items and you can go through the item and select. This is a way for your third phase in Laserfeld scheme, selection of indicators. Okay. So cost and distance is also a variable that affect health services, the demand for health services. Yeah. So you can search from the item from INN. All right. You can also narrow your search by specifying in what area, but I wouldn't advise because sometimes research can be cross-disciplinary, so you might miss out. All right, so I'm giving you about 10 to 15 minutes for you to do the search from INN, and I would like one or two to share the result of your search. It's good for you to show the variable that you have searched and the item. Maybe you might just want to show a screenshot of what you have searched and the result that you have obtained from INN. So I give you 10 minutes to try. You can share, you can ask me through the group chat.
Makan demi untuk Cairo Effendi probably.